Hi y'all, it's James Hatfield again, and this time I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to use the iWorks eye tracking software. So let's get started. The first thing to note that I'm doing today is I have both screens hooked up, but they're not spanned. They are treated as two separate screens. In another video I showed you how to span the displays with the NVIDIA control panel where we check that box, but today we're going to leave this box unchecked. As I said, treat it as two separate displays. Alright, so first thing, open up this iWorks record software. Give it a second. And there we are. So real quick, just an overview of this software here. This controls tab, this is where you select which eye tracker you use. Obviously we only have the Phobia eye tracker, but the software is made to work with different eye trackers. Configure here. Make sure this matches the physical setup you have with the monitor angle and the angle of the eye tracker and different things like that. Let's see. You will need an output file. So right now I'm just going to be using an output file. That's just my name, pretty basic. If you're using a script, and I'll probably talk about a script in another video, or you can look it up in the eye tracking documentation, then you'll need to locate the script there. Alright, let's go to the settings tab. So we will be recording a video of this session, and I'm only going to be recording where I'm looking for the one screen. I'm not going to be looking at multiple screens and recording over the two screens, so just click desktop. I think we don't need to worry about anything else for now. Quad server, we're not doing anything with that. Do go to the data server though. This is what allows you to receive and process the data in real time. So you'll need to hook up a client to this, and I'll show you that in just a second. So make sure that this start button has been pressed. You can stop the client, but you'll need to start it in order to connect to the eye tracking software. So speaking of a client, I've written one. There's one provided in the downloads when we downloaded the software, but I added a little bit to it. In Visual Studio, if you open up what I've called it iWorks client, just open that up in Visual Studio, and you'll see that it looks like this. So hit F5 or the green button that was right there to run this thing. And if you hit connect, then you'll see that you've now connected to that iWorks record software. So the different labels here will start displaying that eye tracking data in real time once it starts receiving it. Cool, so you are all set up to start recording your data, so go back to controls and hit start. And I'm going to overwrite my file. Alright, so now you need to calibrate the system. Wait for those circles to turn solid green, and if they don't, that probably means that you might be sitting too far away, so I'm leaning back right now, and then it lost track of me. So make sure you're sitting close enough. Both of those should be relatively solid green. That's probably close enough. And now follow that yellow circle to calibrate the system. And of course you do want to make sure that the red and green crosses are on the black circles. This is a pretty good result. If they're way off, then you'll probably want to recalibrate. But I'm happy with this, so just hit enter or any key. Now look on the left side of the screen, and you'll notice that it's recording where I'm looking. So that's really for for us as the moderators to make sure that the participants kind of looking at the right stuff. I recommend turning that left screen away so that the participant cannot see the recording of them, but of course it's helpful for you to watch as they're doing it. So I want to just hit enter to get back to this screen. Alright, cool. So you can see with this iWorks client, it is picking up the data. So right here, this is the X coordinate of my left eye, the Y coordinate of my left eye, the pupil diameter of my left eye, and same thing for my right eye, so X coordinate, Y coordinate, pupil diameter. I've added this here, the blink count, so I'm recording the number of blinks received in the last 5 seconds. So I just blinked there. And that's basically the way I do that is if the eye tracker loses track of your eyes for about 200 milliseconds, it'll count that as a blink. Of course, you can also see it's counting the number of samples received. So I'm just going to put that over there. And you'll notice that this background I've created it especially for the eye tracking, for use with eye tracking stuff, and it basically just gives us the ability to measure how accurate and how fine the resolution of the eye tracking software is. So right now I'm looking at the green square, and it looks like that's pretty good. I'm having to look over to the left screen at the same time to check that. But so we can see that that's 100 pixels by 100 pixels, 200 by 200, and then this is even 50 pixels. I'm looking at the mouse right now. So you may see that calibration may be a little off, but hopefully it's pretty good. And this we can even use to test if we can pick up if the participant's reading a line of text, kind of dependent on how large the text is, of course. So I think that really shows the basic capability that we have so far. So just hit disconnect right there and pull up the eye tracking software. So first you'll need to close this video and hit stop. So now we've stopped the recording. And now you'll see